I want to bring in Christopher Bedford because this is another thing that we all need to work on. He is the chief comms officer for Right Forge and the senior editor of The Federalist. And Right Forge is in a battle now to build a second internet. I have told you that we need parallel societies. And this is critical, but it is difficult and very costly to do. Christopher, how are you, sir?
I'm great. How are you?
Very good. So tell me what you guys are building on the second internet.
We're building the infrastructure that basically the internet goes on. We're building the servers. We're building what Amazon Web Services does. It's essentially, it's the highway that the vehicles travel on or the ground that you build on. Without these servers, you can't build websites. This is what all the information flows on. They're all around the globe. They're in every continent. They're in California. They're in Texas. They're all over the place. And previously, in the life of the internet, they were a free place. They didn't have opinions. They didn't care what you put on them. You could do anything you wanted on them. But after Parler was taken down by Amazon Web Services, after Texas Right to Life was taken down by GoDaddy, we realized, holy smokes, we need this stuff. And the good news for the right, trying to get these things up so that Christians and conservatives and even just liberals who aren't in good favor can still continue to have a voice, is this is not new technology. We know how to do this. We're just at a place right now where the people who control it, the people who control the commanding heights of the U.S. economy and the global economy have decided that Christians and conservatives and even doctors who just disagree are not allowed to have a voice anymore.
Okay, so tell me how this works, and it's just you don't become another Parler, which stood and then was just canceled by all of the servers and everything else. How deeply into this will this protect voices?
We are what destroyed Parler is Amazon Web Services came around. One of the things that destroyed them, and they said that you can no longer have the services. You can no longer have the infrastructure that you're built on. It's essentially they just collapsed the ground underneath Parler, so it collapsed. And at the same time, they got hit by Google Play and they got hit by the Apple Store, so they weren't even allowed to sell their product. Mm-hmm. We are answering that part of the problem that Amazon Web Services posed. We are the ground that you can build these sites on. So you're uncancelable by any existing U.S. law. If you're on with Right Forge, they would have to dig the wires out of the ground, seize the server farms, which is, this is a place that we're in a dangerous place in this world. You're just talking about the Great Reset. This is something that could happen someday down the road.
Oh, I think
right now with existing U.S. telecom law, we can still have this ground, and that's what Right Forge would do. So you won't get parlered if you're on with us. And when other sites had been taken down previously and ripped down by their server providers, we've gotten them back up. We've defended them against the hacking attacks, and that's the business we're in, is free speech.
Okay, so first of all, where'd you get because this is wildly expensive to do.
The good news for us is a lot of people early in January realized this at the same time. So Silicon Valley's long had political people who are involved with it, not just with the left. A lot of libertarian folks, a lot of Ron Paul kind of types.
Yeah.
And these folks had continued. They'd seen bad signs. They'd seen lots of signs that you talk about all the time, that things aren't going right, that censorship is increasing, that the corporations are no longer on the side of the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, the Declaration of Independence.
People.
But
they're just not on the side of people.
They're not. It's wild what we're seeing. But early in January, when Parler and the President of the United States were deplatformed and taken down, that was a snapping moment for a lot of these folks. A lot of these people who had made a lot of money in Silicon Valley, who had a lot of expertise, who had a lot of intelligence, who had all of the skill sets. So they reconnected. These are folks who'd known each other for years and years and years, but worked at different companies. I know some of them personally. They reconnected and put this money in. And like I said, this is not new technology. So the infrastructure existed. You need to buy it. You need to acquire it. You needed to grow it. And a number of these companies, the people who were working with partners, already had it, but they had just been using it as part of a normal commercial property. They hadn't realized, holy smokes, this is a new era. So we were able to get them all together very quickly, and we now have servers in every single continent except for Antarctica.
Oh, that's fantastic. And so how can we help? How can we get involved?
You can go to rightforge.com if you want to move a lot of your domain over. We're getting a lot of business right now, and some of them are big and huge. Like we have the president's social media platforms working with us, and some of them are small. Like when your neighbor emails you from theirlastname.com, that's their address they've bought. So it's big and small. We're bringing people on, and this is the infrastructure that's going to allow us to do what we unfortunately need to do, which you talk about a lot, which is build our own banks, build our own clubs, build our own social media platforms. Because if we're not allowed to play on the globalist playground, then we have to build our own here in the United States that's free. And you can do that at rightforge.com.
So people understand, this is not, if you're on Twitter, they can still cancel you. But if there is another Twitter-like social media and it's on RightForge, they can't cancel you.
Yeah, they will not be able to cancel that website.
Right. So you just don't disappear and go away and never heard from again. I can't thank you enough for doing what you're doing. I pray that this is one of the answers, as you just said. We have to do this on everything, and we are way behind. But Chris, I can't thank you enough. I've been shouting from the mountaintops for a long time. Where is the place to go? Who's building the Radio Free America? Who is building something where we can't be canceled in the end? And I am thrilled to see your work. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you, and thanks for letting me talk about it today.
You bet. RightForge. Go to rightforge.com. rightforge.com.